Welcome to Fiberchats. My name is Irene. I'm the host here. I just got back from Vogue meeting live from in New York City, and it was probably one of the most wonderful weekends of my life. I got to meet so many stars of Fiberchats and so many people who watch my channel. It was like absolutely amazing. So I want to take you on a little recap of my weekend. The show started on Thursday with classes, and then Friday in the afternoon, the marketplace opened, and it was open for 3 days. The classes continued throughout all 4 days, Thursday through Sunday. On Saturday, there was a whole bunch of different fashion shows. And also throughout the weekend, there were lectures, interviews with some celebrity knitwear designers. It was really packed with events. So let me show you some of the highlights from this weekend.
Hey everyone, I'm Sheila Anderson, the owner and creator behind Urban Girl Yarns in Ashland, Virginia. This is my very first Vogue Knitting Live in person. I previously did it online and I did one out of town, but this is the big event that I've been waiting for 7 years to get into. Many people have asked me, how did I get into Vogue? And like with every other event, it is about your status. It is about you understanding how to fill out the application and having backing or money. It is not inexpensive by no means. There's so many costs associated with doing an event at this size. That's why we always say, please come out and support us, because we've invested our heart, our time, our energy, and our money into this. So that's what we do. Then once you're into the event, they send you a notification. You're all excited. It's like, yes, I made it into Vogue. Then the preparation starts, and you spend months in your mind organizing on paper with your support people and dyeing all the fibers and buying all the things that you think people would want at an event of this size. You've got to book a room here at the Marquis Marriott. It's a nice room. We're on the 15th floor. We get to look out at Times Square, and we're happy with that. But you got to get here. We're fortunate enough at Urban Girl Yarns that we have a nice van that carries all of our stuff. So we packed it so tight there was probably nothing available except for air. We had a little bit of air to breathe and we could roll down the windows. But we tried not to step on the brakes too fast because everything would shift, and we were just so grateful that it didn't. Then you gotta load in. And here in New York, if you've never been to New York, it's a chore. But if you've been, you understand. There are very few alleys and other things that you can drive down. It's not like other events where they have a big loading area. You have to have a scheduled time, and you're competing with their UPS, their garbage trucks, their linen service, their people that have to come in here. So you got to make sure you hit your load-in time to get that in here. But once all that's done, you then get to breathe and realize that everybody was helpful. They were wonderful. They ushered us in and out. They laughed with us. They set up electricity and all the other things. And we're here. So let me take you around my booth to show you some of the things we have. Let's go this way. Let's start at this end. So, one of the things that I did this year is I know how we like to sit and knit and drink wine and coffee. So we have wine cups available, and they're really wonderful, multiple colors, and you can pick one up online or here at Vogue. We then have a new fiber weight called New York, because I like to name things based on urban city. And this is a fingering weight, but it has some mohair in it that's going to give it that extra sheen. Then I brought in a new worsted weight, which is my Germany, that's linen and superwash merino. It's just, and it knits up just, the drape is so nice. My Boston DK is 100% superwash merino. That was one of my first weights that I picked up, but it's a staple and it's always wonderful. Then over here, we have my first love, which is my fingering weight, my 90% 90-10 superwash merino nylon, 480 yards, the largest gain for you to do that. There are new colorways that are here today that will stay in my lineup, but we're introducing them here. And then we're bringing out some of the Thailand, which is a DK weight Surrey. It's not the fingering, it's a DK weight Surrey, so that you don't have to hold the two skeins together if you don't want to. If you want to, that's fine, but it's Surrey merino and superwash nylon just for you. So we also have today 5 new t-shirts. We brought 5 t-shirts for everybody. That we of course kept the iconic logo that we love, but we've got a tie-dye, we got the sports one in multiple colors, we got a gray, and then we have our pride shirts. And we've got project bags. We contracted with Gnome Fibers, and she sewed up all these beautiful bags for me and stuff. And she's going to keep sewing some other bags for Urban Girl Yarn. But they've got this wonderful hidden pocket. You can go inside and keep your stitch markers and stuff in there. And there's a prize inside for each person that buys one. Once you stick your name in there, you'll be happy. So that's who we are. We're Urban Girl Yarns out of Richmond, Virginia. Please follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and on Facebook. And you can purchase anything online. If you see something that you like, hit me up online and I will make sure I put it away for you.
Hi, I'm Duke of Nico. I'm a knitwear designer from Memphis, Tennessee. This weekend I have 2 fashion shows coming up tomorrow on Saturday. One is at 11 o'clock with Shirley Payton. I designed the vest for her. And the other one is at 4:15 p.m. On Saturday tomorrow. It's Kaleidoscope fashion show. And I have 2 garments that I designed for them. So I hope you'll come see them.
Hi, I'm Julie Roswell. I'm a printmaker and textile artist from Nova Scotia on the east coast of Canada. And I take my lace knitting and make prints, either a very direct process, so like the shawl on the wall at the back, I would starch the knitting after I'm done knitting it. I would then ink it and put it through the press with paper to directly print it. Or in the case of something like this, I actually etch on copper and then I print using the copper plate. So it's a little more involved process. So I really enjoy lace knitting. I really thought I would be doing very small things like this initially, but I kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So I'm really excited to be here at Vogue Knitting Live for the first time and to chat with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
is London Kay. I'm here at Vogue Knitting Live and I have an installation. It's all crochet, gotta represent crochet here at Knitting Live. And it's a coloring book, so over the course of the weekend I'm filling it in with crochet color, and by the end it'll be all rainbow. So get ready.
Thank you.
All right, this is yours?
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
Ranging from neutrals, blues.
So the beginning with me having this wonderful experience with this handmade artwork.
With some golds and signature designs, and they combine them in amazing ways, using colors in their anatomy, subtle and sometimes bold effects. Beautiful cardigan. Is wearing a beautiful cardigan.
Hi, I'm Shelley with Threads and You, and we are here in Vogue Live, New York City. I specialize in yarn, hand-dyed yarns, and fabric. So as we go around the booth, we'll kind of highlight some of my favorites. Over here we have a whole wall of fingering weight yarn, usually great for, of course, your shawls, your socks, all of those wonderful projects. And then as we go around, some of my favorite project bags are by Atente. We have the Atente bags, wonderful. And then as you also follow along, all of our samples are on the walls. We give you a really good idea of what you can do with some of these yarns. Another great piece, the Connie jacket. This is a hand knitted, then felted jacket from Denmark. So really fun projects here in the booth. We appreciate you coming by. Thank you, Irina. Thank you so much for coming to the show and visiting us in our Threads and You booth.
Thank you.
Well, here we are after the pandemic, right? And we couldn't come together last year. So we have been working on this fashion show. We are at the Kaleidoscope Fashion Show. And we have been working on this project ever since the pandemic, let's just put it that way. And so as you know, if you were here back in 2020, when we did our first Kaleidoscope Fashion Show, we opened this up as a competition worldwide. We wanted to represent designers from around the world. Whether you were a beginner, whether you were an advanced designer, it doesn't matter. We wanted you to submit your designs. We held applications. We've received over 150 applications worldwide for various designs. Now, notice, how did you pick the designs? We went in this based on sketches, based on past work that these designers have been doing. And we selected the ones that we wanted that represented what Kaleidoscope is all about.
This is all 100% merino from our very own sheep flock, and it's all non-superwash yarn, so it'll behave the way you expect it to when you start to knit with it. We try to keep it as natural as possible. You can see the beautiful colors over here right off the sheep, and then a whole bunch of natural dyes to help you knit the rainbow.
Thank you.
And good day, everyone. I just want to introduce Anne and me. We are, together we are Modern Daily Knitting. We're a daily knitting magazine, so you can check in with us every day, or we'll send you an email, or possibly come to your house and say it's time to read your Modern Daily Knitting today. But one of the wonderful things that's happened in our business over the last 6 or 7 years is we write a small series of books that comes out 3 times a year. They're called the Modern Daily Knitting Field Guides, and they're little so that they can be carried in your knitting bag.
So I come from Buenos Aires in Argentina, and it's a very different place. And it's not different in, okay, buildings are different or people are different. It's just the knitting world is completely different. For example, I'm not popular in my country because I don't have any skill that my fellow Argentine knitters don't have. We all learn to knit the same way. We all learn to be the owners of our own knitter, of our own knitting. We all learn truly how to design our own projects. So I don't really have anyone to write for there because most knitters know when they see a photo or an image of something they want to make, they have the skills to try, even if it takes a few trial and error steps, they have the skills to really make it happen. So yeah, I suppose that every time I leave my country, for me, of course, there's the cultural shock of coming to a country where I don't get to speak my own language, and especially New York is so overwhelming. But for me, the biggest shock is to be acknowledged and greeted, meeting all of you, and understanding that you have an interest in what I do and what I make, and well, that's for me the biggest difference.
That was the thing that you wanted to do.
So Ravelry became a thing in 2007. I think that's when the owners built the website. And before Ravelry, I was already becoming a part of the knitting community within blogs and newsletters. Well, when Ravelry came along, I decided to join in, and especially for me, it was really hard to keep up with all the information because I was reading in my second language and I was missing some things. And it's not just the language, but references to things that were going on here in the States that I missed. And with Ravelry, everything came together, under their arms, sort of, where, we had these forums, we had these databases, and it was so easy to navigate, not just for the Americans, for people from around the world.
You didn't have to look for what blog was that on anymore, and you didn't have to blog yourself if you didn't want to. It was really revolutionary.
So you read once from a pattern, and then you don't have to remember, who was it that made this version of this pattern? That version of that pattern was already on the database. And so for me, as someone who didn't have any friends who knitted, it was outstanding. I was a young knitter when I joined Ravelry. I was 27, and my only knitting friend was my mother, who still is my dear, dear knitting friend. But I didn't know anyone who was learning new things as I was. I was learning new things and then teaching them to mom. But I didn't know anyone who I could learn with and share, like, oh, look at this yarn, it's so cool, or look at this pattern or this construction. And I love the fact that, there was this popular pattern and suddenly we were all either making it or wanting to make it. Ravelry also provided me with a lot of free resources. Income in Argentina is very different as in the States. So for us, the cost of a pattern is a steep rise for any Argentine knitter. So I learned a lot from free pattern resources that everyone was putting out there. So that helped me become a better knitter and, achieve greater projects that people started to notice, and it gave me a little platform so that I could share the things that I was first knitting and then designing.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about what I bought at this show. So overall, I sort of went a little bit nuts and I bought 12 skeins of yarn, but when I show it to you, you'll understand why I had to have them. So the first 3 skeins I got from Urban Girl Yarns, and Sheila is just magnificent with colors. So the first one is Virginia Fingering, and this is 480 yards of merino superwash. I mean, just look at it, right? And to go with that, I bought gray just because I'm low on gray in fingering weight. So that's New York Fingering. Beautiful colors. And I also had to get that project bag that Sheila was showing. So here is the project bag from Fiber Gnome. And as promised, there is a little surprise inside the tape measure. Thank you for the surprise. My next stop was at Cowgirl Blues. That's a South African company that specializes in mohair. So I had to buy these 2 different skeins. They similar colors. I couldn't decide between the 2 of them, so I got both. I also had to buy yarn from Debonair Yarn just because the colors are spectacular. So I got the Superwash Merino Silk Yak in lace, and then it's extra fine merino and stellina also in lace weight. So these are the 2 skeins from Debonair Yarns. My next purchase was Daisy, the Jade Sapphire Exotic Fibers, and it's 70% silk, 20% mohair, and 10% nylon, 438 yards per 100 grams. And this beautiful, fluffy, and squishy yarn. I also bought 100% mulberry silk, and it has these gray and pink little streaks. And it's Bilum 100% mulberry silk, 400 meters, 100 grams. This yarn was 100% linen, and I just really wanted to try linen. It's from the Yarn Dynamic, wonderful couple who owns this place, and they do magnificent things with colors, so I had to have it. I also bought this balm by Scented Stitches, and it's aromatherapy, so you put it a little bit on your fingers, and as you knit, your knitting starts smelling of this balm, and it just keeps you calm and happy and helps you with your knitting. My last purchase was this little bag, and it's Llama Pearl wrist pouch. It's by Long Island Yarn and Farm, a 10T bag. And I just had to have it. As much as I enjoyed buying things at Vogue Knitting Live, my absolutely favorite things was to meet the Fiberchat stars and get to hang out with them, talk to them, have a drink, have some conversation. It was absolutely the best part for me. And of course, meeting fans. Thank you to all of you who stopped me to say hello, to tell me that you enjoy watching my channel. It was lovely to meet you in real life. If you enjoyed watching this episode, please consider subscribing to my channel and tell me in the comments what's your favorite thing about attending yarn festivals. Thank you so very much and happy knitting.